Greetings, brothers and sisters. Greetings. First and foremost, we must acknowledge our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushai, for allowing this word to come out. I hope you're sincere. Brothers and sisters are truly edified by today's word. Today is so-called Sunday, the first day of the week. And a lot of people, worldly people that's worldly, recognize today as so-called Easter. Us as Israelites, we don't acknowledge that. But what I want to bring to you guys today is understanding the importance of who you fellowship with, who you break bread with spiritually, and who you do not fellowship with, who you do not break bread with. Okay, we're going to come to you in the Apocrypha in Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 13. And we're going to bring verses 16, through 18. Okay. In Sirach, chapter 13, verse 16, it says, all flesh consorted according to kind, and a man will cleave to his like. So you see that? So a man, whatever type of man he is, he's going to congregate and fellowship with those type of men. Okay. Verse 17, the question that it asks is, what fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? Think about that. What fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? It's not one. What did verse 16 just tell you? A man will cleave to his like. All flesh consorted according to kind. And a man will cleave to his like. In other words, a man is going to fellowship with those just like he is. If he's a criminal, he's not going to fellowship with a non-criminal. Okay? If he's a drug dealer, he's not going to congregate with a bakery, a guy that make donuts for a living. Okay? Especially if the goal is to come together and get money. They're not going to mix the two. It's either the drug dealer is going to congregate with another drug dealer, or the baker is going to congregate with another baker. So in verse 17, when it asks, what fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? It's not a fellowship. It's not a fellowship. It's like oil and water. I'm sorry, I'm dehydrated. It's like oil and water. They don't go together. And that's the mindset you got to have. If you're a spiritual law-abiding citizen, the mindset you got to have is, I'm only going to fellowship with people that's on the same thing that I'm on. And in verse 17, here's the point. It says, what fellowship have the wolf with the lamb? We already established it's not one. It says, so the sinner with the godly. It's the exact same thing. The same way a wolf and lamb congregating together ain't going to happen. The same way a sinner, he's not going to congregate and fellowship with the godly. It's a conflict of interest. It ain't gonna work, man. If you on Team Satan, you not looking to fellowship and congregate with those that's on Team Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahushai. It's just not gonna happen. But I find it odd because when you have somebody that's in the world, right? And let's say they get to a point where they want to start going to the side of serving the Lord and following the laws, the statutes and commandments of Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahushai. They in the world, but they want to go back. They not want to go back, but they want to lead to the direction of righteousness. They don't want to live the way they live, and they want to live better. So in order for them to live better, They have to exit the ways, laws, rules of the world and transition over to things, the way things are done biblically, spiritually, being obedient, fearing the Lord, trying to abide by his laws, statutes, and commandments. It's a difference of worlds. So when that person that's a worldly person says, hey man, I'm done with this. I'm gonna wipe my hands of this and I'm gonna go over here to the spiritual side of things, the biblical side of things, right? So you got to keep in mind, when you leave the world and go to the biblical side, you got to slam the door to that life over there and stay focused on this side. But guess what happens in a lot of instances? People that lead the world, even though they have a new focus, they have a new purpose, they still have dealings in the world, whether it's siblings, whether it's a woman, whether it's friends, family, that's still in the world, and you still have some sort of loyalty. You feel as though you have some sort of loyalty to these people in the world. So guess what you're doing? You wasting your time if you really trying to be on the side of Yahweh through his only begotten son, Yahweh Shai. Why do I say that? Because you can't fellowship with both. It's not going to work. They are of the world. You're no longer of the world. So why are you congregating or trying to congregate with people on that side? If you don't celebrate pagan holidays, right? Because now you're on this side of things and these people pull you in and say, hey man, you coming over for Christmas. You have to make a conscious decision. Okay, am I going over there for Christmas to celebrate Christmas? Or am I going over to visit my mom, or I'm going to visit my family because they used to me coming around? You can still come around, say, hey, how you doing on Christmas, but you don't have to celebrate Christmas. But you can be over there on the day of Christmas. Hey, how you doing? Came to see you, Blase Skippy. They in the spirit of Christmas. You in the spirit of love, coming to say, hey, how you doing? You're not walking through the door with Christmas presents, handing them out. You know what I'm saying? So me personally, I wouldn't go over there. Or if I'm going to go over there, my mindset is I'm going to go visit my people, but I'm not going to partake in the gift sharing, none of that. What am I saying? Fellowship with those that's with like minds. Fellowship with those that's on the same thing that you want. Am I saying excommunicate yourself from your family and friends that's in the world? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's still your family. You can still speak to them, deal with them, whatever it is that you do. But when it comes to this book here, if they not on that, you don't say, hey man, you want a Bible study with me? It's not gonna work, man. So fellowship with those, congregate with those with like minds, like spirits, man, is really what this boils down to. In verse 18, it says, what agreement is there between a hyena and a dog? It ain't one. And it says, and what peace between the rich and poor? It ain't going to be no peace between the rich and poor. One going to envy the other. The poor man is going to envy the rich man. Or let's look at it from a simple sense. A rich man can go places where a poor man would never be able to walk through that door, the same door. So why would a man that's a billionaire fellowship with somebody that's poor? Can he do that? Yes, he can. But I would like to think most rich men will congregate with other rich men. That's what I would like to believe, and that's what I would like to think. I don't see the richest man in the world congregating and hanging out and doing business with poor men of the world. Me personally, if I was a rich man, I don't mind opening my door and sitting down with somebody that's poor. I don't mind opening the door, having a conversation with that person and see how I can help them. But when it comes to my business and we're gonna approach this thing in a business sense, I have to understand what this person brings to the table. And if they're not able to financially contribute to what we're supposed to be doing together, then that might not be a good fellowship, business, or partnership. But what am I saying? Congregate with those with like minds, congregate with those, fellowship with those with like minds. That way there's a mutual interest there. There's a win-win that's happening there, okay? And I want you guys to just be mindful of that, man. Fellowship with those that's on the same thing you want. If you're in the world, there's no way you're going to fellowship with someone that's, if you're a spiritual person, a worldly person is going to be very uncomfortable fellowshipping with you unless they are already leaning towards coming on the side where you at. If they 10 toes in the world and they calling you, say, let's go to the club tonight, and you reply and say, nah, man, I'm a Bible study. You can come hang out over here with me and we'll pray together. How you think that's going to go? So that's all I got for you, sincere brothers and sisters. Fellowship with those of likeness, you know, because again, a sinner and a man, a sinful man fellowshipping with a godly man ain't gonna work, bro. Be smart. Don't settle. Stand on your biblical principles. And if somebody want to congregate with you, make sure they're on the same thing you on, man. That's all I got for you, sincere brothers and sisters. Want to give all praises, glory, and honor to our Heavenly Father, Yahweh, through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, for allowing this word to come out. And hey, listen, man, keep Yahweh through His only begotten Son, Yahushua, first in everything that you do. And when it's all said and done, bring them a masseuse.